Once upon a time, in a small town, one day, the parents had to go out of town for an emergency meeting and they were not able to take their child with them. They decided to leave their child, a 10-year-old boy named Jack. As soon as the parents left, Jack felt nervous and scared. He tried to calm himself down by watching TV, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Suddenly, he heard strange noises coming from upstairs. Thinking it might be his little sister playing tricks on him, he went upstairs to check it out. As Jack reached the top of the stairs, he saw a shadowy figure moving towards him. He froze with fear as the figure stopped right in front of him. It was a ghostly woman with long black hair and eyes that glowed red in the dark. Jack tried to run away, but he found himself trapped in the haunted house with no way out. The ghostly woman started following him around the house, whispering strange things into his ears and making eerie noises that sent shivers down his spine. The night seemed endless as Jack kept running from room to room trying to escape from the ghostly woman's grasp. Finally, when dawn broke and sunlight filtered through the windows, Jack felt relieved that he had survived the night. When his parents came back home later that day, Jack told them about what had happened during their absence. But they didn't believe him and thought it was all just his imagination. From then on, every time Jack was left home alone at night, he could feel an eerie presence lurking around him, reminding him of that fateful night when he encountered a ghostly woman inside his own home. Next day, I invited my best friend over to spend the night with me. We stayed up late playing board games and watching movies until we finally decided to go to bed. As we drifted off to sleep, I suddenly woke up in the middle of the night to hear some strange noises coming from outside my bedroom window. At first, I thought it might just be the wind or a stray animal, but then I heard footsteps approaching our room. I sat up in bed and whispered to my friend that someone was outside our room. He didn't believe me at first, but then he heard the footsteps too. We both sat there in silence, listening as the footsteps grew closer and closer. Suddenly, the door slowly creaked open and a figure appeared in the doorway. It was a tall, shadowy figure with hollow eyes that seemed to stare right through us. We were paralyzed with fear as it slowly approached our beds. We tried to scream, but no sound came out of our mouths. The figure leaned down towards us and whispered something unintelligible before disappearing into thin air. The rest of the night passed in a blur as we huddled together under the covers, too scared to move or even speak. When morning finally arrived, we were too afraid to tell anyone what had happened for fear they wouldn't believe us. Years later, when recounting this story with my friend, we still shiver at the memory of that terrifying sleepover, wondering if it really happened or if it was all just a nightmare. Years had passed since the terrifying sleepover, and my friend and I had grown up. We were now in high school and decided to have a birthday party at my house with some of our closest friends. We had pizza, cake, and music blasting from the speakers as we danced and laughed the night away. Everything was going great until we heard a loud banging noise coming from upstairs. At first, we thought it might just be someone messing around or trying to play a prank on us, but then the banging grew louder and more persistent. We decided to go check it out, thinking that maybe someone was stuck or needed help. As we made our way upstairs, The banging stopped abruptly. We searched each room but found nothing out of the ordinary until we reached the attic. There was an old trunk sitting in the corner of the room that caught our attention. As we approached it, a cold breeze swept through the room, followed by a faint whispering sound that sent shivers down our spines. Suddenly, an old ghostly figure appeared before us. It was the same shadowy figure with glowing red eyes that my friend and I had encountered years ago during our sleepover. The ghostly figure started moving towards us as we scrambled to get away. We ran back downstairs where all of our friends were waiting for us, completely unaware of what had just happened. We quickly explained everything to them, but they didn't believe us at first. However, when they heard strange noises coming from upstairs themselves, they knew something wasn't right. To this day, none of us can explain what happened that night at my birthday party, but one thing is for certain. Ghosts are real and they do exist in this world. The events of that night at my birthday party still remain a mystery to all of us. We had all heard strange noises and witnessed the appearance of an old ghostly figure, but we couldn't explain why or how it happened. Despite our fear and uncertainty, we decided to conduct some research on the history of my house. What we found was shocking. It turns out that the previous owner had passed away in the attic under mysterious circumstances. We couldn't help but wonder if this was the reason for the ghostly apparition that haunted us that night. Was it trying to communicate with us or seeking some sort of closure? The experience left us with more questions than answers. But one thing is for certain. Ghosts are real and they do exist in this world, whether we believe in them or not. Perhaps there are things in this world that are beyond our understanding. But one thing is for sure, we must always keep an open mind and be prepared for the unexpected. Who knows what other mysteries might be lurking just beneath the surface? The discovery of the previous owner's mysterious death in the attic of my house only added to the eerie feeling that had been lingering since my birthday party. We couldn't help but wonder if the ghostly apparition we had seen was somehow connected to this tragic event. We decided to dig deeper and soon found out that there were other strange occurrences that had taken place in the house before we moved in. People reported hearing strange noises, feeling cold spots, and seeing shadowy figures moving around. It became clear that our house was haunted by something or someone, but what could it be? Was it just a restless spirit seeking closure, or was there something more sinister at play? As we continued our investigation, we stumbled upon an old diary belonging to the previous owner. It revealed a dark secret. He had been involved in some shady dealings with a group of individuals who didn't take kindly to his attempts to back out. Could this have led to his untimely demise and subsequent haunting of the house? It certainly seemed possible. As we delved deeper into the history of our haunted house, we couldn't help but wonder if there was more to the story than just a restless spirit seeking closure. The strange occurrences and eerie feelings seemed to indicate that something more sinister was at play. We reached out to paranormal investigators who conducted a thorough investigation of the house. They used various tools and techniques to try and communicate with any spirits present in the house. What they found was shocking. There were multiple entities present in the house, each with their own unique energy and personality. Some were benign while others were malevolent, seeking to cause harm and chaos. It became clear that our house had become a hub for supernatural activity, drawing in all sorts of spirits from across time and space. But why? The answer lay in the very foundation of the house itself. It had been built on an ancient burial ground, disrupting the resting place of countless souls. The negative energy emanating from this disruption had drawn in all sorts of spirits, some seeking revenge, others just lost and confused. Armed with this knowledge, we decided to perform a cleansing ritual on the house, using sage and other natural remedies to remove any negative energy or entities present. It worked, the hauntings stopped, and we were finally able to live peacefully in our home. Our experiences taught us that sometimes things are not always as they seem. There may be underlying forces at play that we cannot see or understand. But by keeping an open mind and being willing to explore new avenues of understanding, we can uncover truths that may have otherwise remained hidden forever.